So yeah, if you read the title, this isn't a hate on the Arrowverse, but if you don't know, the Arrowverse was set up around the DC universe, but in a different way, around small characters, and they were all connected. Does it sound familiar to you? If you're thinking of the MCU, no, but many people, including me, thought of it as that. It's called the Arrowverse, a separate universe connected to the DCU, but set up in its own many way on TV. Now, this isn't a hate on it, but I'm here to talk about the downfall of it, with shows like Arrow with its eighth season coming up, and shows like Superman and Lois coming out, and The Flash going up in hill show, and in general, Supergirl being cheesy. Legends of Tomorrow, many people watch the show, but might get canceled. And Batwoman, you either love it or hate it, but it's garbage to me. But we'll be doing this in two parts, so let's start where it all began then, on October the 12th, 2012. Now this is the beginning, but it's where it all started. October the 12th, a show called Arrow came out. The show was a big success in general, and it was based off the comic series Green Arrow. Now, I can get why they didn't want to call the show Green Arrow because, I'm going to explain. Back then, if any superhero was seen on the show, they would get canceled because superheroes were still doing good as movies, but as TV shows, nah. Shows like Smallville, which had just ended, so Arrow was supposed to be a successor. While it didn't run that long, it did a little bit better as a storytelling show. And not many people hate on the show as many want to say. The show in general, to me, isn't a bad show. I just could never get into Arrow the way I got into Flash. As after Arrow Season 3 and Season 4, it kind of drove me off a cliff. But were these shows okay? Yes. They have problems. All Arrowverse shows do. Were they cheesy? Especially cheesy and cringy. Now, there was no Daredevil or The Flash or including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this time. So, yeah. But October came along and we got the spinoff of it called The Flash. Well, The Flash is a spinoff of Arrow that was centered around the character Barry who made the appearance, and it was a big hit. Totally was a big hit in general. It was a lighthearted show, and people could really watch it. There was no problems with it. Sure, it's having this downfall. We'll get into it later in the part 2, and right now while we're going on, but CBS was working on a show too that was supposed to be good, and this show was centered on a female superhero, the sidekick of one superhero, and it was about to do something. Was it good enough? We'll be figuring out now. So, like I said, we'll get into it now. Well, October 26, 2015, Supergirl premiered on CBS, then got switched to CW. Now, in general, I could never get into Supergirl. This show tried to rip off The Flash for CBS because, sure, it was a hit and later got moved to CW, but was this the best idea to go for? This show later got moved off your network thanks to this because, goodness, Supergirl to me was just trying to do the girl show of sitcom girl, but she's a superhero, and it's mixed in with The Flash. No disrespect to Supergirl, she's a great character like Batwoman. When you read her origin, it can be turned into a TV show. I would love to see it, but goodness, how they adapted it, it just doesn't go right. It tries to add dark and fun nature together. And you see how well that worked out for Flash Season 3. That's not going to work out for this show. So, yeah. The show, like I said before, wasn't a bad show. But got a crossover with The Flash. And that really did a little bit better because it then got moved to CW. But, fear not, a show was coming out by CW that was a spinoff of characters from The Flash and Arrow, set up as a team-up show, and it was going to be something new. But was it really good? I really don't want to get into this, so I have to get into this conversation. Oh my god. Well, let's just start to get off with it, as we'll be heading right there into the collapse. Because Supergirl wasn't good enough. They totally need this show. And the collapse became May 5th, 2016. A promo for a show called Legends of Tomorrow came out. Now, I was kind of hyped up for this show. I was thinking, oh my god, this is going to be awesome. And I really was kind of wrong. At this time, CW wasn't going for the dark tone anymore like The Flash was. The The Flash was still in season 2, the lighthearted show, when Arrow was in season 4, where it was trying to be a little bit lighthearted still. This show was supposed to be a serious team show, and I couldn't wait for it. And what did it turn out to be? None of that. This show turned out to be none of the story that we were thinking it was going to be, as it turned into the most horrible, downright show. I mean, I'm glad how they promoted it as a show, but everything was not even set up when they showed this promo. Like, in general, Dr. Martin was literally still, we didn't know if Ronnie was alive or dead yet. And they literally had him say, oh yeah, we can't show who took over after Ronnie died. So they couldn't show that. I mean, they were just using clips from, well, Arrow in general and the Flash scenes, and mixing them in together with scenes that they just filmed, like, on the lowest budget. Like, you can't even see the Firestorm's actual face that he's playing. There's so many scenes that never got used in the show, and it's kind of sad how this show wasn't used up to what it was supposed to be, as the Arrow and Flash were showed to make their first appearance in the show halfway through. But no, I get it. They didn't want them to slide in their adventures, but at least have them in for the first episode. And no, this show just fell on so many levels. This is where the collapse started to begin off at, because of what happened. Like I said before, the trailer just used clips from all the other shows, and put them together to make this epic trailer. So, what do I mean? It did this the whole way through. But that's not where the collapse started. Right now, we're about to head into a lot more. Season 4 of Arrow and Season 3 of it. And also a horrible version of The Flash coming up. Gasp. But like I said, now the main other problem was, after Season 1, using Vandal Savage, a villain in The Flash, for a couple minutes, they decided to make him his own villain, then kill him off, and then bring in a totally new villain. Villains from The Flash and Arrow. Why? Yes, that's the greatest idea to do. Bring in villains from other shows, because we don't have nothing to do with them, instead of giving our spin-off show of both of these shows their own villain. Why should we do that when we can literally just give them characters a villain from one show? I mean, it was pretty stupid. Like, they used Reverse Flash, Damien Dark, and whatever his name was in general as the villains of this show. I mean, oh, we can use 2 of the villains from Season 1 of The Flash and Arrow, and another one. But then came Season 4 of Arrow. Now, everyone really doesn't pay attention to Season 3, as Season 4 in general was meant as the downfall. What do I mean? I mean, it was literally meant as the downfall of Arrow in continuation, as the story was kind of weird and was drawn out at that point. Like, okay, this whole season was kind of like after events, where I felt Arrow should have ended after Season 3, as it had a great story arc and ending. I was like, maybe this is where Arrow is supposed to end off. I mean, Oliver is driving into the sunset. He's left that past behind, and new heroes are supposed to look over the city. I mean, that could have been the whole spin-off of its own, and Oliver could have made some cameos in the show, but no, we needed him to return with this villain named Damien Dark, who has magical powers. And was that really the best way to go with? I mean, to be honest, Damien Dark was not the best villain for this show. I mean, you want to know what I mean by this? I mean, in this show, there are people who shoot arrows, and you shoot guns at people. Not all these people have magical powers. They just shoot arrows and guns. I mean, at least when they did have a meta, he was doing something like shooting lasers out of his eyes. This dude has magical where he can move things with his mind. So Oliver basically shooting an arrow or them using guns have no use or no purpose to killing him. I mean, he easily kills Black Canary again. So that was no use to it again. And yeah, this season to me was really just a up and down season that was weird. But going on to The Flash, Season 3 to me was its downfall. Okay, in general, I'm not going to talk about Season 4. I'm going to talk about the rest of the shows in Part 2. But Season 3, kind of why people talk trash about. I don't get why, because I didn't hate it for going in this dark tone a little bit. I was liking it because, I mean, as comic books change over time, they can go for dark stories arc, and The Flash proved they can do it and didn't do a bad job at it. I mean, the main problem was that this whole dark story arc could have been used a lot longer, as Flashpoint could have been the whole season. I mean, we could have had the whole season revolved around Wally being Kid Flash. The whole season revolved around bringing this ultimate different world and stuff, and him trying to cope with it instead of us just learning. I mean, imagine if the season started off with him still pretending to be the Flash, him not knowing it, and that there's another person as he's lived around this place for that long. Imagine if all these events were just memories and erased. I mean, imagine if he had to deal with these memories being erased instead of just having to go like that. So, yeah. This was a weird way to do it, and in general, the trailer just showed, in season 3, showed the Flashpoint universe, but wasn't used as much as it should have been used in the show. It was just used for one episode and was never brought back up. I mean, this could have been the whole plot line for a whole season, but they decided nope. But then November 29, 2016, they did an even bigger thing to happen. A crossover came along. This crossover was supposed to be epic, and it was for a while. What do you mean? I'm saying, I mean that this went on for 4 episodic show. Now, I've gotten used to it during the Arrowverse, but this was not needed for 4 episodes. I mean, I literally thought after the Flash literally defeated the aliens that this was the end of the episode. I never moved back onto it. Try to learn there were more episodes, and I was like, why was this a whole episode? I mean, this could have been one whole episode instead of 5 or 4 episodes. Like, I mean, yeah, there's some plot holes to film, like the president going missing, but this went on for way too long for 4 episodes. That this could have been like a, well, 1 episode thing. In general, it could have been brought back up later, but they have to keep it going on more than, well, once. But this isn't the end yet, but I'm going to say right now, this is the end for today. So yeah, this is the end of the episode of the rise and fall of the downfall of the Arrowverse. Starting off with ending part 1, and there will be a part 2 coming. So before this video ends, I just want you guys to say, let me know if I should do more videos like this in the comments below. But that's all for right now, and we'll get back to the downfall of the Arrowverse later.